So if we want to build our own scheme, if we go into Starlog, this time we'll go to the scheme editor and create new, and we'll need to select what sort of logger we have. So in this case I have a Hydrologger 2001, and we need to go to our instruments library, so it automatically populates everything you need as a default, but we may not need a rain gauge. This has a rain gauge, so if you don't need a rain gauge, you can just highlight it and hit delete. The rain gauge is removed. So now we've got an encoder with 500mm pulley, embedded scheme, which is always handy if you don't have the scheme, and FlowSys. This is just basically an option for the telemetry side of it, for when you're communicating with it, and the generic micrologger using the SDI sensor. So if we open up the instrument library, so we want to add external battery volts, so we can have this and add battery volts gets added here. So it's just a generic, nothing special about that. Here's another rain gauge. We just delete it. If we want to put that back in, we can highlight a noter, add that. Tipping bucket. So I'm going to use the counter channel, label rain, it's in millimeters, what tip size, whether it's 1/2 mil, 0.2 of a mil. And then once we're finished with that, we can go to the log buffer. So we need to tell it our interval. More commonly these days we're using 5 minute. This is measuring stage, but we also want to measure voltage, and we want to measure rainfall total, or check total, raw. So let's measure the rain total, which will be every 5 minutes. It'll total up every tip over the 5 minute interval. 5 minute, and then if we're happy with that, circular 2, linear means it'll stop when the memory fills, circular means it will just keep rewriting around and round, so circular being the better option here. And then we can save that. And it's asking us what to call it, so we're going to call it demo, and it's just going to go into our list of schemes where they all sit. So it's just compiling the scheme. It's done, and then we can close out of there, and we want to select, go to our version 4 schemes and look for our latest one, which is called demo. So you see it's a Hydrologger 2001. Double click. Are you sure? It tells us we're still connected to the old site. We want to disconnect from that. Back to COM2 and program the logger. Okay, that's done. We can go into test mode. Sometimes it jumps back for a different COM port, so watch that, disconnect, go back to COM2, connect, there we go. So we've got a 5 minute log rate, hasn't logged yet, so we've got our battery volt 12.4, our depth on our encoder or Hydrologger 1.557, with no offset here, and no rainfall yet, so we've got a rainfall per millimeter tip and the total over the period. So you can see if I short out the rain terminals, we're getting 1/2 mil tip. So 1/2 mil tip recording here and totaling over here. So this site we measure rainfall, monitoring our volts and our stage. Done.